Gardeners often search for ways to supercharge soil life without waiting months for compost to break down. While rice may seem like a simple food staple for humans, in the soil it behaves very differently depending on its form. The choice between raw rice and cooked rice can determine whether microbes in your soil start thriving in just days or whether they remain dormant for weeks. This difference can completely change how quickly your soil becomes fertile and how fast crops respond to a boost in biology. Soil microbes feed on food that breaks down fast and is accessible. Every living soil is powered by microbes, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and countless other microscopic organisms. They are the first link in the soil food chain, turning raw materials into compounds that plants can absorb. But microbes are selective feeders. They cannot thrive on materials that are too hard, dry, or resistant to break down. For soil life to flourish in days, the food source must provide both easy energy and moisture at the same time. Rice, depending on whether it is raw or cooked, can either unlock microbial activity almost immediately or sit in the ground largely untouched. Raw rice is slow to break down and can stall microbial growth. Raw rice grains are hard, dry, and packed tightly with starch inside a dense structure. When placed in soil, raw rice does not dissolve or soften quickly. It requires constant moisture and microbial priming before any real activity begins. This means that raw rice acts more like a long-term food reserve than an immediate feast for microbes. In dry climates or compacted soils, raw rice can even mold before it decomposes fully, creating pockets of unwanted fungal growth that do little for plant nutrition. If raw rice is to be used, it is best applied sparingly and always combined with a microbial starter, such as diluted compost tea or molasses water. A ratio of 1 cup of raw rice per square meter of soil, soaked beforehand in a sugar solution, can speed up the process slightly. But even then, it may take weeks before microbes begin responding at the surface. For gardeners looking to spark soil life quickly, raw rice is not the best choice. Cooked rice feeds microbes within days because it is already softened. You see, cooked rice behaves in the soil in a completely different way. The heat and water from cooking break down the tight starch structure, swelling each grain and leaving it soft and moist. When buried in soil, cooked rice begins to ferment almost immediately, releasing simple sugars and attracting microbial colonies within a day or two. Instead of waiting weeks, gardeners can see visible microbial activity, such as fuzzy white fungal growth and darkening of the soil, in less than a week. A simple method is to take 1 cup of plain cooked rice, let it cool, and mix it with an equal amount of garden soil or compost. Place this mixture in a shallow trench, 2 inches deep, and cover it lightly with soil. After 4 to 5 days, the rice begins to ferment and draw in a surge of microbial life. Within a week, worms and other soil organisms move toward the feeding pocket, creating a ripple effect through the bed. The role of moisture and sugar in amplifying cooked rice results is really quite remarkable. While cooked rice works well on its own, it becomes far more effective when paired with a sugar source that feeds microbes further. Many gardeners dissolve 1 tablespoon of molasses in a quart of water and use it to moisten the rice before burying it. This creates a double food source, starch from the rice and sugar from the molasses that microbes can attack from different angles. The result is explosive growth in microbial colonies that plants can benefit from within days. Another method is to ferment cooked rice briefly before applying it. Leaving cooked rice in a loosely covered jar for about 24 hours allows natural yeasts and bacteria to colonize the grains. When this fermented rice is mixed into soil, it works like a microbial inoculant, seeding the ground with fresh populations ready to expand. A ratio of 1 part fermented rice to 3 parts soil provides a balanced application that won't overwhelm the root zone. Raw rice has its place, but cooked rice is the true fast starter. It would be wrong to dismiss raw rice entirely. In certain cases, such as long-term soil building, raw rice offers a slow-release starch source that breaks down over time. It can be useful in perennial beds where steady microbial feeding is more important than rapid stimulation. But for gardeners aiming to wake up soil microbes quickly, especially before planting vegetables, cooked rice is the superior choice. It transforms hard starch into an open buffet that microbes rush to consume. For example, in a depleted raised bed, applying 2 cups of cooked rice mixed with a handful of compost across 3 square feet can result in visible microbial blooms within a week. The same amount of raw rice in the same bed may not show results for over a month. This difference is critical when timing crops or trying to revive soil between plantings. The right way to integrate rice into a soil feeding routine. Rice should never replace a full soil fertility program, but it can be used as an accelerator. For quick boosts, cooked rice pockets can be added every 10 days in new planting beds. For longer-term fertility, raw rice can be buried deeper, about 4 inches down, to decompose slowly, while cooked rice handles the immediate microbial surge closer to the surface. This layered approach gives both short-term and long-term food to the soil food web. Gardeners working with containers can also benefit. A tablespoon of cooked rice mixed into the top 2 inches of potting soil provides a quick microbial spark that houseplants and patio vegetables respond to with stronger growth. For larger beds, a pound of cooked rice diluted into 5 gallons of water and poured as a slurry across 10 square feet works as a microbial primer, especially before planting fast-growing greens. Final thoughts and a call to action. Rice may seem like an unlikely soil amendment, but the difference between raw and cooked rice can mean the difference between waiting months or seeing results in days. Raw rice is slow, steady, and useful for long-term feeding, but cooked rice is the fast-acting energy source that can jumpstart microbial life almost overnight. By knowing which form to use and how to apply it, gardeners can save time, revive tired soil, and create the conditions where plants thrive. If this guide gave you a new perspective on how simple materials can awaken soil biology, make sure to subscribe to Hydro Haven and share this with other growers. Together, we can keep uncovering the small but powerful tricks that make gardening easier, more productive, and far more rewarding.